Hey, hello everybody, welcome back. Good morning. So this is lesson number 80 and we are covering up Bootstrap part 6. I've already covered some of the sessions on Bootstrap like part 1, part 2, 3, 4 and 5, and we have seen a lot of topics which we were not knowing about, and what all are the new topics which we have covered, right? So good morning everyone. Today we are going to cover the last session on Bootstrap, which is the forms, and we are going to understand how we can use uh, directly forms in Bootstrap without writing long lines of codes, right? So that is what we are going to see here. Hi Somu, good morning. As you said in earlier video that you will teach Java, please try to add some projects in it. Very excited to learn Java from you. Yes, if you can see the schedule, right? It's not been shared till now, but soon it will be shared, maybe by weekend we'll have one particular schedule which will be shared with you, and you can see there that I have added coding sessions after every 3 to 4 days. So after every 3 to 4 days there will be coding sessions, there will be some projects, there will be some programs which will be there, which will be asked in interviews. Everything will be there, so just have a look at schedule. I'll be also coming up live once more to ask if you want any changes in the schedule, so that also we will take care. Okay, but yeah, we are planning with more number of coding sessions and interview tips. Those all things will be there. Okay, now if you guys are new here, then let me just introduce what is happening. So basically, my name is Ritwik Raj, and it's been 3 years that I have been, have a teaching experience. I'm a corporate trainer, plus I have also worked as a subject matter expert and a research analyst in most of the edtech companies. And I have trained graduates and corporate employees from Edison and Capgemini. I've trained more than 30K students till now. It is increasing day by day. Subjects which I take is mostly into front-end development, backend languages, databases, interview preparations, and all those kind of stuffs. Okay. Uh, I have a code which is RIT10, which you can use to get a free level sample test paper. But if you do not know about Relevel, don't worry. Soon I'll be telling you what is Relevel. But before that, before introducing Relevel, I have to tell you that um, I am here providing you the full stack. I mean the front end development part. So as you can see that many educators are here in this CodeBeyond channel, and they are doing their best to provide you free content. Let it be DSA, CP, backend programming, or Python, SQL, whatever is stuff. And I am here providing you the front end part. As you can see, already the playlist is coming to the end. This is the Bootstrap last part, and evening I'll be coming up with Bootstrap projects, and then I'll be coming up with Tailwind, CSS, and jQuery. Once those are covered, this whole session will get completed, so the playlist will get completed, right? And if you have not seen the playlist, go ahead and look at the channel. You'll be able to scroll down and see front end playlist there. Once you click on it, you'll be able to see all the videos there. Okay, and soon I'll be coming up with Java. So from Monday I'm starting the Java sessions, which will be a rigorous core Java and advanced Java. Everything will be covered there. So I'm coming up with that from Monday, and soon there'll be a schedule posted also, so you'll get a clear observation of what all sessions will be there in that particular playlist. So that is the whole plan. That was also something related to previous plannings also. Now let's talk about Relevel, right? So Relevel is basically a product of Unacademy, which is having some roles and responsibilities. So basically the idea of Relevel came into picture when candidates are missing out on opportunities due to multiple reasons. Like maybe a candidate is from BSc or BCom and they want to join an IT company as a developer. They have the skills, but still their resume is getting rejected because they are not engineers, right? They have not done BTech or B. So but this is not a valid point, because if they have the skills they should get the job, you know. And also some of the problems are, if you are an engineer but you're from tier 3 college, that's why your resume is also getting rejected. So you are applying to 50-60 companies, but still you're getting rejected, and the other people are getting the chance to get interviewed and hired. Now this particular thing was the reason that we have introduced Relevel, which is India's first test hiring platform by Unacademy, and which is providing helping job seekers find their dream jobs on the basis of their skill and talent, right? So this is what is all about Relevel. We have some benefits also of participating in the Relevel test. So basically this test is of 1000 marks, and you have to score above 700 to get eligible. Once you get eligible, we'll create a profile for you, and we'll share that profile with all of our client companies. Over 100 plus companies, including top startups and unicorns, are there. who are providing 1,000+ job positions across business development, front development, and backend development. So it will be a great chance for you guys to go ahead and give the test and acquire your particular job, right? And now how you can register yourself in Relevel. So you can see one link is already given in the description of the video. You can just click on it, the very first link. You can click on it, and once you click on it, you'll be able to go to the relevel.com website, and there you have to register yourself by giving your phone number. Once you do that, you will be able to see some test which you have to choose. So select the test of your choice, whether you have skills on front end, choose that particular test. If you have skills on back end, choose that particular test. Once you do that, you have to book a slot when you want to give the level test. So please do choose the free time, the free day when you are available, and give the test at that time when you're ready. Slots are limited, so I suggest you to book it fast. And then you can use my promo code mentioned in the description to get a bonus sample paper for the test. You have to write the coupon code, which is RIT10, here in the referral code, and click on apply. Once you click on create account, your account will be created and you'll get the sample paper. If you're not using the coupon code, you will not get the sample paper. So make sure that this sample paper, you are getting it, because it will help you get to understand what kind of questions will be asked in the actual test, and it'll help you really a lot, because is of 1,000 marks. So questions can be anything, and it can be multiple choice, and it can be bigger than that. So try to get all the ideas from this sample paper. So register for Relevel right away. If you have not done it, go ahead and do it. If you have done it already, then all the best for the exam. If you're not ready for the test, then go ahead and check out CodeBeyond channel, subscribe to it, and you will be able to find all the educators teaching different domains, right? So do also please join the Telegram channel, because here you'll be able to get all the facts and notifications about when a particular educator is coming live, at what time, with what topic. So all of those things will be covered in this particular Telegram channel. And also do please subscribe the YouTube channel, which is CodeBeyond, so that you get notifications in your YouTube app as well. And also if you like and share, more and more number of people will be able to know about it. Right, so let's get started with today's topic, which is Bootstrap part 6. And if you guys do not know what we have done till now, if you have skipped some of the sessions, do not worry. I'm just going to show you what all things did we do earlier. So this is Visual Studio Code. I'm just going to open my folder where we are doing the Bootstrap project, the Bootstrap explanation. So this was the folder, and here we were doing all our programs. As you can see, we have covered a lot of things in our earlier sessions. If you have not gone through the earlier sessions, go ahead and check out that once, so that you get an idea what all things we have covered here. And yesterday, I guess we have done a lot of things, which is nothing but the new concepts of Bootstrap 5, which is model, tooltip, popover, toast, scroll, spike, off, canvas, and flex. So all these were similar, but how it was different from one another, and when do we use model, when do we use all other kind of components, all those things we have seen in the earlier session, right? And if you have any doubts, do let me know in the live chat, and we will get started with this. Okay, before starting today's session, I'll just update you about some of the things, because there are some of the candidates who are new here watching this session. So let me just tell you about it. So basically, we are covering the front-end playlist, in which we have covered HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, the ES6 advanced JavaScript as well. And now we are coming up with this Bootstrap that is also going to finish by today. And then maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow, we'll be able to cover the jQuery and the Tailwind CSS, right? So that is what is the plan. And from 17th Jan, which is Monday, we are going to start our Java tutorial, which is a complete Java course. So there we are going to start with Core Java 2 Advanced, which can be taken by a beginner level also. So if somebody who doesn't know anything about Java, they only know C and C++, then you can start with that session, that particular playlist. It will cover everything from starting till finish. Okay. So cool. Let's get started with this session, where we are going to understand forms basically, because that is one thing which we have not done in our Bootstrap sessions, right? Let me just open my browser once, and let me just open this with live server so that you can see the output once. So right now I've commented all the codes, that's why it's not showing anything. Let me just show you what did we do in our earlier session. So this was one of the code which we did, and we were just talking about have I written Bootstrap 6? One second, let me check. Oh God, yeah. Uh, no, so that's not Bootstrap. Okay, guys, that's not Bootstrap 6. That is basically the session name. Okay, the name of the session is Concepts of Bootstrap. It's not the version of the Bootstrap. That is part 6. Okay, I mean to say that I've already come up with 5 sessions. This is the 6th one. Okay, so it's not the version name which you can see the heading. No. Okay, part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5 is already done. This is part 6th video which I am taking right now. If you see the playlist, you will see part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5, part 6. The version number which we are doing it right now in our sessions of Bootstrap, that is Bootstrap 5. Okay, Abhinash Panda, I hope you got this. Fine, so let's get started. Now, this was the flex property which we have seen till now, and I hope you got this particular idea from the earlier session that in CSS we also have flexbox, but here it's very easy to write a particular code about it. So the same thing I also explained to you yesterday, that you have to just mention this particular text here, which will do everything. So if you want to make it a horizontal way, right now it's vertical, which is why, because I've used flex column. If you want to change it to horizontal, I did tell you that we can write row, and then we can also reverse it. So these all concepts I've already told you about flex. Okay, so let's comment this and let's get started with today's topic, which is forms, and let's understand what all things do we need to do a particular code on that. Now, understand that when we are talking about forms, it's basically a form where we can fill up things, right? So we have seen registration form. I've created one of the project in which I've showed you how to create a registration form using HTML and CSS. It was all colorful and looking good, right? Again, the code was a little bit much bigger, and it makes sense because we are writing the logic directly using our HTML and CSS, right? So, but here in Bootstrap, we are not writing the logic. We are just writing or using the classes which my CDN links are providing. That means my Bootstrap CDN links are providing. So these are the CDN links. This is for CSS, as you can see, and this is for JS. So basically, what is the meaning of it? That CSS and JS codes are written to create this Bootstrap framework. Whenever we call a name as framework, right? Framework is basically a particular concept which is designed using other programming languages. So Bootstrap framework is designed using CSS and JS, right? So using that, it is created. Now again, Bootstrap 5 is created using JavaScript. Earlier versions were not using JavaScript in that way. jQuery was used to create Bootstrap framework. Okay, but now JavaScript is more advanced. We have ES6, in which most of the advanced topic is covered, and we can do anything. That is where the popularity comes when we talk about JavaScript, right? So it's been only 1-2 years when JavaScript has the popularity. So that's what is Bootstrap 5. Bootstrap is created using CSS and JS. This is the bundle. This is the basic CDN link which we use it to make our Bootstrap work, right? Okay, so let's go down and let's write our very small code of forms. How do we create it, right? Hi Shruti. Yeah, Java, you guys have told me, that's why I came up with. So let's see how it goes, because this is a strict planning, and I hope that every day I come up with some of the other video of Java, and we can finish it by our first week of Feb, or maybe earlier than that, right? If time permits. Yeah, so that is the plan. If anybody is thinking about my React.js, so I've already told about this in my earlier sessions, that already one of the educator is taking React.js and is doing really well. So if you guys want to learn React.js for right now, if you're in a hurry, then go ahead and join that sessions. You can go ahead and learn from them, from him. But later, when nobody will be taking React.js, I will be coming up with React.js and creating a playlist by that. Okay, Java was more in demand, so I thought let's take that, right? But yeah, React. If you want to learn only React.js from me, you need to wait a little bit of time. Like maybe I will complete Java and then I'll come back with React.js. So here I'm just creating one particular div container which is having a class container empty3. This is the most uh, basic code which we do in Bootstrap. If you do not know the meaning of container empty3, I'm so sorry, you have to go back and learn Bootstrap again, or maybe the CSS part once more, so that you get to know or understand what is this, right? Because this I've been using from a lot back. So you must be knowing about this. You should be knowing about this. I'm just going to write here a normal h2. Remember, here I'm not using any class till now. I've not done anything, and now I'm just going to use a form where I can give a action, but right now I won't give because I don't want it to go somewhere else. When I click on submit button, I don't want the content or the data should get submitted somewhere. So I'm not giving action attribute in my form. I hope you remember action attribute of form. So that's what I'm not giving. Right now I'm just giving this MB3 and MT3. Again, I've already explained you about this, what is MT3 and MB3. If you've not seen the Bootstrap part 1 and part 2, go ahead and watch that. You will be knowing about this. If you don't want to go back, then try to understand that whenever you mention MT or MB, it's basically margin, top margin, bottom margin, left, right. So whatever you can give, and the value is also given there. So that's 3, right? Now, you can do it with anything. You can also give it with in the way of padding, so it will be pt or pb. So that is how we use shortcuts in Bootstrap, so that we don't have to actually mention in the CSS part that there should be margin or there should be padding. We just write it with the class and it works, right? So let's write a label. I hope you remember what's label. That was long back when I taught you HTML, and we have used there. So this is the label which I have used, and now I'm just going to use by input. Good morning, Viresh. I hope you guys know this placeholder and all, ID and all, because these all things I've already explained you in HTML. So I don't think there's something new in this. There's only one thing new. You guys know what is it? It's the form control, which is the class, and that is what is the main important part of it. One more thing is important here, which is the name and for. I don't know if you have noticed it, but the ID and the for here and the name here, those all are same. And you know why it is same, right? Mostly in HTML, whenever we write or create any forms, whenever we write any label or any kind of input, we do match it with one another. So this label is for this input. That's what we say by giving this for and by giving this name. Okay, ID will be used later on. I'll show you where, but for and name should be equal, should be the same, so that you get to know that this label is for this input. Okay, so it's not for the developers to understand. It's for basically the system or the browser to understand that what is happening. I'll just keep it here. So this was the first label which we have created. Let's just check out what is happening. So if I go back, you can see here, this is what I'm getting, right? So again, you can see that I did not tell it to create such kind of box. The whole width and all, everything is done by default. So you can understand that this is happening by default. We have not given any width and all. We have just given the margin top and margin bottom. That is what is given for the label. And you can see that. Here you can type down any particular email ID. I'll also tell you about the, please, you can see here that it is giving me the, you can say that the tooltip, right? That's what we use, right? In our yesterday's video, yeah, tooltip. That gives you a hint. That's what we have used here, and you can see here that it gives you the hint. Please include an @ in the email address. Because we have used type email, that's why it is doing like that. And even if you do that, it's gonna again give you that you have to enter a dot because it is incomplete. You have to follow that same. So this is the email property basically. Using HTML, it doesn't do like that. But when you click on submit, then it gives the error. But here it is already giving me the message, right? So that was all about email. Now we are going to also do some more things, and let's just check out how we can create that. So this was a div class email. Now here we are going to create for our div class for password. So we are going to just give here label for pwd. That's my for, which is your name for the password. So in the input I will add that, and we will just write here password. Okay, so this is my label, and now I'm going to put down the input. Again, input, and this is type. So basically it will have the password type. Here the class name will not change. It will be the form control because we need the same width and all, everything we need the same. So just writing form control. We'll give a placeholder also because we have given it in the email. So let's say we're going to write password here, and name, the for, which is pwd, the same thing I'm going to give here, right? So the password is also done. Let's just check out what is happening or how is it getting seen. Let me just, we are going to write this much big long code only once, just writing once. Later on, whatever changes we will do, we'll do it in this same code itself. Okay, so it will take time to write the whole code, but it is only for once, so why not we do that? Let's check out how the password is coming. So it's the same thing, and you can see the password typing is also happening in a password way because we have written type password. So everything is perfect. Let's get into the buttons or into the checkboxes, select options and all, data list. Those all things we'll check out now. So here basically you must be knowing that we have a checkbox, right, which we always put in. So the same thing, we'll do it right away. So here we are going to have a class. Now here, because it's a different thing, it's not an only label or input, we have a different kind of appearance here, which is a checkbox. So we are going to use a different kind of, okay, 1 second, am I not in my, yeah, fine. Okay, so you can use here this particular thing, which is form check, right? You have to use this, and then you can give here the whatever margin you want to give, and inside this we can start writing our label. So we're going to put up here a label, let's say class. I'm going to just write here form check label. Inside this we are going to create our input because we need one box there. So class form check input, type checkbox, because it's a checkbox, that's why the type. This we have used in HTML also. So the name which I'll give here is remember. Just going to close it, and I'm just going to write here remember me. Right, so the label is already closed. I'm going to close the div, and at last I'm just going to give a button so that there'll be a button of submit, which will give you a submit button. Here I'm going to just write btn primary submit. That's it. Let's close this and let's check out how is it appearing. I'm just going to remove it. I'm going to write it here. Okay, this is the main logic. This is the main code which we have written. Now whatever we will add it in this particular code itself. So let's first check out what is happening. If you can see here, we are getting this email, we are getting the password, we are getting the checkbox which can be clicked, untick. Submit button is very corner. Let me just check out. So I think the earlier where I wrote, yeah, that is what it should look like. So this is what a registration form looks like when you use Bootstrap. Again, if you look at the code, Vashant, can you please tell me which particular video is private? Which particular videos are made private in the playlist? Please do let me know. I think only one video is private, which is 36, and that is because of some reason, and we have been trying to get it back, but let me just check out today if we can get it back. I think only that particular session is not there. If any other session is not there or made private, please do let me know. If you are going with the message that it is saying that this particular video is private, don't go with that message, because those videos are private because it has to come. So I've already prepared those videos and it is still, or it is yet to get live. That's why it is written there that these are private. Okay, don't go with that message. Please do let me know which particular video is private. Okay, so we have this email and password here, right? And we have seen how to work with that. Let's now create, after password, let's create one more div, and let's say we are going to create a text area. This is the same way how we do it in HTML, but yeah, we are just using here different class names so that everything is done very easily. So we have a div class MB3. We're also going to use here margin top as well. Let's see how does it appear, and then we are going to use different things. So here we are going to use a label for comment, and we are just going to write here comments. This is the text area which we are providing. That means we want to provide a space where people can write something, right? So I'm just using a text area, writing class. We have to use form control class because we need all the same width and height. Here we will use the same concept of rows and column, which was also there in HTML part, the same thing. Here I'm using the comment and also the name. Let's save this. Let's check out what is happening. So if I save this, you can see here, this is the comment. And again, this is stretchable. You can see, right? But you can't stretch it diagonally because we are using the class form control. So in form control in CSS, it is already written that the width of any input or any text area will be 100%. So that's why this will not get close, but yeah, you can drag it up and down. That you can do. Okay, so that is all about the text area. Now let's check the other things as well. I think the next one is inline forms. So let's check out what is inline forms. Inline form is basically how you can see your email and password side by side, right? You must have seen some of the, like in Facebook login page, you can see that email and password is side by side, not up and down. So after email, password comes in generally, but in some of the web pages, what happens, first email and then on the side there's a password. So how to do that, let's check out. The same thing we'll do here, but let's first check out what all things we have in our web page now. So we have here email, password, comments. So let's say I want to beside password, I want to add forgot password, right? Or before, just below, just inside of the password, I want to write repeat password. So let's try to do that. So in that case, what we have to do is, we'll keep this commented for now. Okay. And we'll try to create one particular div here in which we are going to just write here row, right? Because it's one row in which two things will come in, right? So in the first row, in the row, the first column, there are really two columns. You can create how many number of columns do you want, but in the first column, I want this particular input. So I'm just going to use that. Let's say I am using it here, right? Enter password. The ID and all is not needed right now because I don't have any label, but that's fine. Let's try to use that and let's try to see what happens. Here I'm going to use one more column that will be for my repeat password. So same thing, but here what I'm going to do is I'm going to just mention it as text, and class will be the same thing. Here I'm just going to mention it as repeat password, right? The next things, we will keep it as same as it is. Let's check out what is happening. So if you look at it right away, you can see that we have enter email, enter password, and then beside that we have repeat password. If we have email here, what we can do is we can also have the same thing, the same label here as well, but this will be only for the first column. Let's check it out. How does it appear once? So you can see here, but the alignment problem is there. So what we will do is, I was knowing that this will happen because you are only giving the label password to this one, not to this one. You can also give it to this one. Let's try to do that. So what you have to do, you have to just go here and paste it here and write here repeat password, and you can see that it is working, right? So this is how you can create this kind of forms, which is side by side, which is also called as inline forms. So that is what is your next topic. Now let's try to control the size of the form, because we have form control, and in form control we already know that's a by default size which is width 100%. But if I want to give a different kind of sizes, right? Like whenever I speak about sizes, it's always about SM, MD, LG, XL, XSL. I have told this multiple times that in Bootstrap, if you're talking about sizes, it's always about those 5 units which we use. So here what we can do is, let's say for the email ID, right? I want to increase its size. So we have form control here. What we are going to do here is we are going to write form control. I'm just going to use SM for right now. So SM is basically the small thing. So let's just check out what happens. So if I go back, I've not saved the file. If I save, you can see that there was certain decrease of this particular box, right? If you've not seen it, let me just increase it. So I'm removing SM and I'm writing MD. Just check out what will be the difference in this particular checkbox. Okay, you can see it came a little bit much bigger. Same thing you can do, you can use LG and it's much more bigger. Similarly, you can use XL, it will be much more bigger. Why do we use this? Because we want to make our particular Bootstrap page or the web page responsive. So depending upon the screen size, your text box will also appear bigger or smaller, right? That's why we use it. I'm just going to make it MD because MD is always by default size. So going back to that, you can do it in any of the particular text boxes. That's all upon you. Now, remember in HTML and CSS, when we were doing JavaScript, when we were using JavaScript using HTML and CSS, I did take one session on form validation where I taught you about how you can disable your particular text box, or how you want to, if any particular user is not filling any particular text box, then the submit button should not work. It should be disabled. Once all the text boxes are filled, then only a person can click on submit button, right? So that also we can do here by just using one particular component. So let me just type here that let's use it in the comment box once. So in the text area, what I can do here is I'll just mention here disabled, right? So let's see what happens when I am writing disabled. If I save this, let's go back. So you can see here it is disabled. Basically, it's not clickable. You can't write anything here. This will not work. But with disable, we also have one more thing. So let's say what's going to happen is, let's go back to the code. In the email, we have a placeholder, right? So let's say in the placeholder, not in the placeholder, let's try to give a value here. So I'm going to give a value here. Let's say I'm going to give here is Ritwik 5678 @gmail.com. Let's say this is what is written in the place of value. So if you look at this, this is what the value will come here, right? Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just make it a read only. Okay, so let's see what is read only. Now if I go back, you can see here that you can click here, right? You can click here. See, in disabled you cannot click, right? You cannot click also, and if you can't click you cannot type. But here you can see you can click, but it's not gonna get edited. So it's read only. You can only read the value. So this particular value is already written and you can read the value, but you cannot change these values. These are permanent. Now you remember, or now you know the concept of filling. Do you know in some of the websites what happens whenever you open any particular job sites or such kind like Naukri.com or Indeed? What happens whenever you go there? If you have signed it with Google account, your already pre-filled data will be filled there, right? And that will be read only, right? Because all those pre-filled data is already filled. You do not have to change that. You cannot change that because Google account is linked with your Naukri or Indeed account. So they have taken data from your Google account, and those data you cannot change. This happens with many of the websites, and that is how they do it. So obviously you have to add your backend also with that, but this is the main thing behind that, right? So I hope you got this concept. Now let's move and let's try to do something else. Now here, if you can see, we have here form control, right? And whenever I have shown you the web pages, you can see the web page is looking very attractive because I've used form control. So form control is having all the CSS and JavaScript part of it, correct? But now what I want to do is I want to use it in a very normal way. So here what you can do is form control, you can just write plain text. So basically plain text is making it in a normal way, not very attractive. So let me just go back here. I've not saved the program. Now I'm saving it. Just check out this particular box because I've just used here plain text. So if you can see here, this is a plain text. So there's no border, there's no width, it's just plain text. So here also you can write. Okay, this also you can do. Many times you can see this, but this doesn't appeal good. This doesn't look good. That's why people don't use it. But yeah, this is also one of the features which you can use. Any doubts still here? Please do let me know. Okay, so here what we will do is we have the password. Let's check out first what all things we have in our web page. We have email, password, repeat password, comments. So after comments, let's try to add something else. I'm going to go back to my code. This is my comment part. So no, this is my remember me part. This is my comment part. So after comment part, I'm just going to mention here a class. Let's say MB3. And here we are going to add one particular code for color. I hope you remember there was one particular type which is a color type in our HTML. That's what we are going to use here. I'm using type color. Let's say a class. Let's say form control color. let's say a predefined value is given here. So I'm just going to use here FFF, and we are going to close it. Let's save this. Let's check out if we can see the color. The FFF is basically the white colors. That's why it's becoming white, and you can now click on it and you can choose whatever color you want here, and you can choose that color. Again, the main motto to tell you about this type color is basically to tell you that type whatever was there in HTML, the same type has been used here. So you can use all the different types, whichever is there in HTML, you can use it here. We have tell, we have email, password, whatever things we have there in our HTML, you can use it directly here. It will work fine, right? Before going into moving into the next part, I just wanted to ask you guys one thing, because yesterday I did not get the answer of it. As you guys know that I'm coming up with Java, right? The Java tutorial. So I was asking the time slot when you want me to come and take the live session, because I don't know where the colleges are open, or you guys are attending online classes or not, whether you guys are free, when is the time when you're going to watch my live sessions, when is the correct time when you'll be sitting and you'll be free, right? So I can see there are a lot of number of participants here. So please do just ping at what time do you want these sessions to go live, so that every day I'll be coming live at that particular time, so that you will be also joining with me in that particular session. So please do let me know at what time I should come up with that tutorial, because it will be a constant time till the end of Jan. So think about it and do tell me, because I don't want to come up at 10 a.m. teaching Java, because you guys will not be awake, or things do change when because you have different timings. So do tell me, because I don't want to do it in morning, maybe evening, or maybe at night. At night already many of the educators are taking sessions, so you guys will be checking sessions of theirs. So do tell me if when you want me to take those sessions, the Java one. Cool. So let's try to create some more different forms, and then we are going to end this session. So first of all, we have here color, right? After color, we are going to put up one more code before remember me. So let's try to do that. Now you must be knowing the select option tag, right? So we'll be using the same thing. We'll be using the select option tag, but in a different format. So let's try to see how we are going to do it. First of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use label. Guys, please do ping me about the timings. That is really important. I'm just going to write here select one. This is my first select. And then in the class, I'm going to just use here form label, because it should look like a label. And here select one from the following. This is the label which I have given here. And now we are going to just write here select. This is the tag which we have used. This is from HTML, you guys must be knowing. And here we do not use control. Here we use form select. So this is what you need to take care about, because form control is basically whenever you have a text box, but in select or option, we do not have any text boxes. We do have choices. So we have a list of options and then we choose it from there, right? So that's why we have form select. So here what we are going to do is we are going to use here ID. We are going to use the same name which I've given there, which is for the for, and we are going to also give here the name, which will be the same, select one. Okay, now inside this we can have our options. So in options you don't have to use any class, the appearance will be the same way. So I'm just going to write here some options. So let's say HTML. These are the 5 options which I've given. Let's give some names to it. Hi Ayush, I hope you are doing fine. Okay, so these are the 5 options which I've given here. Let's check out how does it appear, because this is only one of the way. I will also show you the another way how to do this. So if you look at here, you can see select one of the from following. Because it's select options, you can see it comes something like this. Again, I'm repeating that it's not a text box, so you will not be using the form control, you'll be using form select. Okay, so we used form control here, here, here and here, but in this one we do not use that. Okay, so we do use here the form select. If you remember, in this remember me part also we did not use form control, we did use form check input. So that is also one thing which you have to notice. I don't think I have repeated that, but yeah, we are not using here form control, we are using form check input because it's a check. So do remember about all these classes. That's what makes Bootstrap easy. If you do not remember these things, then it will be really very hard for you to work with Bootstrap. The another kind of, we will use the same label, right, but in a different way. So here we'll be changing some of the things. First of all, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to change these all. So I'm just going to write here select 2, because this is one group of code and this is one group of code. So it's very important that you should be knowing how to, you should be segregating that basically. So I have this class and these all things. Now here what you have to do is I'll just write here multiple. Okay, that's it, nothing else. And let's try to see what happens. So when I write multiple, you must be knowing what's gonna happen, because this I've also told you in HTML when I was teaching you form select option tag. I did use multiple, and when we use multiple, what happens, you get all the options at once. If you see here, this is what I'm getting here. Okay, and now you can choose multiple. Okay, so this is also one of the I think I've not given the margin here, that's why it's very close here. You can see the remember me part is also very close. That's only because the margin I have not given, so that is not important. But yeah, this is what I was trying to show you here. Okay, so these are the 2 ways. Now let's try to see how we can, you can also do something like this. So if you want to change the size of it, let's say I want to use LG here, so size will change. This is the same case with every particular classes in Bootstrap. I have been using it from the starting, so just the class name, and then before that you can just add the size. This is gonna work with all of the classes. So you can see here it's a little bit much bigger. This is medium and this is large. I'll also use small in my another one. So let me just use it in this one. I'll just change this to SM. You can see here, this is what is small. This is small, this is large, and these are all medium. Okay. Oh, 1 second. I was not in my, yeah. This is large, this is small, and these all are medium. Fine. So I hope you got this particular concept as well. Now we can also disable it. So the same thing you have to do, you have to just use disable keyword in front of select wherever you're using. So let's say you want to use it here. So you have to just mention here disabled. Right? When you do this, what happens? You will not be able to choose anything from that particular box. Whenever I'm clicking, it's not going to open and it's not going to give me an option to choose it from there, right? So this is one of the thing. Now select option was one of the thing where we have learned about this, right? But there was also one more thing in HTML which we have seen, which is data list. So how do we work with data list in our Bootstrap? Let's try to check that out once, right? So here what I'm going to do is, let's say I'm going to use my label for the same things, just going to give a name here. So let's say I'm going to give here languages, This is just your own name which you have given. You can use anything. Now the class which I'm giving here is form label because it's a label, and I'm just going to write here one statement. So select one from the following. Cool. Now the next part, I'm going to use here the input, because you remember data list always will be having one input, because it's an empty box where you write something and get all the results there, right? So basically in select option and data list, what is the difference? Select option is basically a drop down, so you click there and you get a list of items, you select from there, right? But in data list is basically a list of data, and also if you do not want to choose any data from that list, if you want to add a unique data of your own, you can use that as well. You can write it directly. So if I want to write it, I need to use input. So that's what I'm giving here. I'm giving an input. Because it's an input, I have to use form control. So you remember that form control. We will use here a list. Do you remember in HTML also we used to have a list in our input and in our data list, which will match both of them. So the input tag and the data list tag will get connected because of this list. So this list, whatever you're writing, it should be same. So I'm just going to write here languages. Remember, list is languages, but for name and all is language. Going to give an ID also. Let's try to close this. Let's go to the data list, and here I'm going to use an ID. Now this ID, whatever you are giving here, should be the same which you are giving in the list. Okay, now this is matching, so that means this input and this data list is connected, and this will give me the output. So here I just need to add some values, that's it. I'm just going to use here value, and I'm going to directly use the data list. So options which I'll give here is the same thing, the HTML, CSS, the JavaScript and all. So let me just write here. One second. Okay, let's try to save this. Let's try to check out what is happening. So if I go back, you can see it's a text box first of all, so you can write whatever you want, but it is also giving me the options what I've given there. So suppose if you don't want to use all those options, so what you can do, you can write your own set of values as well, and you can click on submit, right? This also you can do. This is what is the difference between select option and data list. So in select option, you click on that, you get some options, you have to choose from that options only. You do not have a feature where you can add your own data, no. But in data list, you can add your own data as well. If I click on it now, you can see all the options, right? Let's go back. I hope data list also is known by you. Now next thing what you're going to do here is the checkboxes and the radio labels. So checkboxes you already know, this is the same thing which is the checkbox. You can do it with multiple values, like if you want to have gender option and you want to have 3 values, you can do the same thing. It's just that you need to repeat the same code again and again. So let's say I have this div, right? So in this case what you have to do, let's say I want to create a particular div here. I'm going to create that and create that. So this is for my gender, and here what I'm going to do is, okay, so let's say I'm going to create one more div. This div, I'm going to close it at the end. So this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and here I'm going to close it. Also, I'm going to write here the option for gender. Okay. So let's change this now, the particular these values. So here I'm just going to write male. Here I'm going to write female. Here I'm going to write other. Fine. So this is what you're getting right now. Let's check out what is happening. So if I save this, if I go back, if you look here, you have this particular div inside which you have male, female, and other. I think the spaces are coming because I have also given MB3 in my code as well. You can see here in this div as well, I've given here MB3. So I'll not remove it from here. Instead, I'll remove it from these two. We need to remove it from here as well. Okay, so now let's check out. So you can see here, this is what is getting appeared, right? So this is how your checkboxes will work. Now let's check out how the radio boxes will work, because checkboxes we already have seen. I just copied the same code. Now in radio boxes, you know the difference. What is the difference? Checkboxes, you have multiple options to select, so you can select multiple things from there, but in radio is just one option which you have to select. So in that case, what you do is you have to just change this label, not the label, this input thing from here to radio. That's it. So let's say I'm just going to write here radio. That's it. So now if I save this, you can see here this has become radio. You can choose any one, right? So mostly in gender you have to use radio only. Don't use checkbox because checkbox will choose multiple. So in gender it won't it is not the right way to write the gender. So basically you should use the radio so that you can select only one option from there, right? So that is all about your radio boxes and gender. Now we have one more particular thing which you can use in your forms, which is something new. So let's just check out what is that. What I'm going to do here is after color, not after color, after select, after this select, I'm going to write one code. Let's check out what does it do, and let's see whether you can guess what does it do. So we have the same thing. We have the form check, but this time it's also having one more class which is form switch. So again, it's a switch. That means it's a toggling switch, so you can switch on or switch it off, and that's what it will provide you. So let's try to give here some more code. I'm going to write here input class form check input type checkbox ID. I'm just going to give here my switch name, going to give here dark mode, and the value I'm going to give here yes, and let it be checked. So in the beginning it will be checked only. Then I'm going to give a label. The first the switch button will come and then the label will come. So label, I'm going to just say the same thing, form check label. And here I'm going to use for, because those two are same, these two things. So my for will should match my switch. So I'm going to use that, and I'm going to just write here dark mode. So it's basically to turn on the dark mode, and that's why this particular button is there, but it won't do anything. Let's check out what how does it appear basically. If you look at this, this is how it is appearing. I can switch it off, I can switch it on, right? So dark mode is just the example of it. You can write whatever you want. I was just showing you this particular switch thing. How does it work? Okay. So this is how this particular switch button works. Now again, the space is not there because I've not created a different div here. This was just to explain you how the switch button works. That's it. Okay. So perfect. I hope now you got an idea what all things we have covered here, and how this particular forms work, right? Basically in Bootstrap. So we have all the different types. different things, like we can also have range, so we can use that as well. Let me just comment this and we'll try to create a fresh code. So this whole form part, I will just comment this from here, not from here, from here. So let's just comment this. So we have the form starting from here, right? One second, I think I've already commented this portion. So you can see here form is getting closed and form is getting started. So what I'm going to do here is, let's try to see some codes for our range, and let's try to see what does it do. So I'm just going to write here label, and let's say I'm going to use here a for which is a custom range, and I'm going to use here a class form label, in which just giving a label here, and input type. Again, you know that we can use any kind of type, so I'm just using here range. In the class, I'm just going to use here form range, and I'm going to give here the ID custom range, right? Let's check out what is happening. So if I go back, you can see here, this is the label and this is the input. So in the input, basically class form ranges, you can select what range do you want. So you can choose any kind of range. You can also give the basic color here, so that if you are decreasing it till here, only this much value will be taken. You can also give the values as well, right? So this is basically to create the range. Let's say that it is 10. This whole width is 10. So if you want to select 3, this is the position of 3. If you want to select 8, this is the position of 8. So that's how you can select the ranges as well in your code. One more thing, what you can do is you can add some steps. So let's say input type range, which I've written here with the class, you can add here some steps. So as I told you, if you want to use 100, if you want to use 10, those all steps you can see here. I don't think it will change anything, but you can see that now it is creating the steps. This is 1. Basically, this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If you increase the value, so it's gonna take that value. I'm just increasing it to 50. So you can see here what's happening. Okay. You can also add the min and max value. So if suppose I'm not giving any step here, I'll just give here the minimum value to be 1. And let's say I want to give here the maximum value to be 5, right? Let's save this. The same thing will happen. What does it do in step? But you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. It's basically n minus 1. So the maximum value which I've given is 5. It's getting divided into 5 pieces. So it's n minus 1. Okay. That's how you can use min and max. So we have several other values as such, which you can get in getbootstrap.com. So if you go to getbootstrap.com, if you go to the documentation part, you'll be able to see what all topics are there inside forms. I'll just show you from where to get it. So if you go here, just write here getbootstrap.com. You can see here that if you click on docs, you can see the version name. So right now we are using the Bootstrap 5. You can see here, and if you click on forms, you can see all these things, right? So we have seen about form control, right? We have seen how to create this, and then we have seen how to use select, right? How to select the options. You can see there are both 2 options given. Yeah, so from here, disabled, right? SAS variables are also given, but that is fine. Don't use it. This is just for your reference, which they have given. Check and radios. So we have done the check and radios also. Range, also we have seen just now how to use the range. You can disable this, min, max, steps, all of those things are given. Input group is basically how you can group all the elements at once. So that is input group. You can use input group and email ID, password, all of the things you can write at once. Floating labels also, and layout. So these are the rest of the things which you can see. So this is your homework. So the assignment for you is to go here to this website and go ahead and learn about input group, floating labels, layout, and validation. Validation is most important because here you will be able to get how you can not write a long code of validating. Instead of that, you are just using some classes to make your code, to make your input invalid or valid, right? So these are the values which is given. If suppose you don't want to in your email somebody is not given the value, so it will directly check it and it will give you some error. So all these four things, check it out from getbootstrap.com, start learning, and you will get to know how these forms are created. Try to create a project on that as well. Today evening I'm coming back with the Bootstrap project where I'll be teaching you how to use all those things. So let's just wait for that session to begin. But yeah, meanwhile, go ahead and learn these all things so that you do not face any problem when you're doing the projects. Okay, so cool guys, this is what I want to teach you right now. So as you can see, I've not covered the whole topic of forms because I wanted to give an assignment to you. I've just told you what are the classes which you can use in your forms and how you can create the forms. But the rest of the part, which is your input groups, floating labels, and validation, you will get it from getbootstrap.com. Go ahead and try it out once. Try to see what all labels are there, what all classes are there which you can use. Try to create a project based on that and you will be done with it. Okay, so I think this much is enough for Bootstrap because not enough questions will be asked from here. Mostly the classes, how do you use margin or how do you use padding, how do you write it, and all of these things will be asked to you in your interviews. So not much, but yeah, this is the whole sum about Bootstrap, right? In and out. So evening I'm coming back with some projects at 4 p.m. and at 8 p.m. I'll be coming up with some different kind of projects on Bootstrap, and maybe tomorrow I'm coming up with jQuery, and day after tomorrow Tailwind CSS. So there'll be very small sessions on jQuery and Tailwind CSS. That those sessions will not be very large. Just to give you a glance what it is, just that. Otherwise your front-end playlist is in the verge of ending. Okay. So if you have any doubts, please do let me know. Otherwise we are going to end the session now. Okay, so please do join the Telegram channel, which the link is given in the description below, because here if you join, then you'll be getting an update about all the notifications about when a particular educator is coming live, at what time, with what topic. So all of those updates you'll get here. Not only that, but also the Relevel updates you will get here about Relevel. Okay, do subscribe to the YouTube channel, which is CodeBeyond, because I want more and more number of people to join here and see the free content which we are providing. So it'll be really good if you guys can, post the videos which you have liked very much in your LinkedIn and just say that, recommend it for the following friends of yours and say that, these are the free sessions which is going on. These are really amazing. I'll be really happy if you do that because we want more number of views in our channel so that more number of people will get to know about these things. So please do like and share, and thank you so much guys. I'll meet you really soon, which is in evening with Bootstrap projects. Bye bye, take care.